Alright, hello everyone and welcome to another Antares Shipyard live stream. I'm going to do another Tabletop Simulator Academy tonight for those of you who are wanting to kind of get more familiar with Tabletop Simulator and how the attack wing mod works. This is going to be kind of just a walkthrough of everything. So starting for those who may catch it on the replay or who are tuned in right now, we're going to start from the very beginning with this, and then kind of work our way to fleet building and all the good stuff. So with that, I think the intro is done. So let me share my screen here. Let me know if the music is too loud. I know I got it playing in my ear. Alright, sharing my screen. Okay. So for those who don't have it already, you can find the Tabletop Simulator game itself, just the base game, inside the Steam library. Currently, it is sitting at about $20. But if that price is too steep for you, or you want to wait, that's okay too. A lot of times, this game goes on sale, and generally it's half off, so it's around $10. I think that's what I scooped it up for. $10, pay the one price. You don't need the 4-pack. But yeah, that's what that gets you. So once you have Tabletop Simulator, you'll get it here. You want to go to the workshop. Inside of the workshop is where you'll find the mod itself. So now that you've downloaded Tabletop Simulator, you want to go to the workshop. You're going to want to search Star Trek Attack Wing. And that's going to pop up a bunch of different stuff. So anything that has this kind of banner, this kind of thumbnail here is super out of date. Don't use that mod. What you want is the Attack Wing setup. The automated one here by Crazy Vulcan. This is the most up-to-date mod. And Crazy Vulcan owns the mod, but he is kind of in the background of things. It's really no longer working on the mod itself. I have taken over the coding duties for the mod. So I'm doing my best to keep everything kind of up to date and fresh, and trying to get it up to a level to where there's a lot of functionality to it. But that's going to be the most up-to-date mod there is out there. There is another one by Crazy Vulcan called the Attack Wing Building Table. That mod is also super out of date, and I am not planning on updating that because I have built the building table itself into the Attack Wing mod itself. So that is how you get Tabletop Simulator, and that's how you get the mod. So we'll go back to the store. We'll just go ahead and we'll play Tabletop Simulator, and we'll get that loaded up. If I go too fast, or you guys have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat box there. And I'll do my best to kind of recover it or answer the question as soon as I get it. The other thing is I did make a JPEG for the keyboard shortcuts. So you can type in !shortcuts, and it'll give you a link to the keyboard shortcuts for Tabletop Simulator. There are a bunch of them. If you're not used to gaming that way, I know it was kind of an adjustment for me. I was never really a computer gamer, so to speak. So I had to kind of learn the keyboard shortcuts, and once I got the hang of it, it goes pretty smoothly. Alright, so this is the main screen for Tabletop. So we're going to go to Create. And for this, I'm just going to use a single player. And then we will see that we have the Attack Wing Setup Automated mod right here, right in the workshop list. So you can load that up, and that'll bring you to the main Tabletop Simulator Attack Wing mod. So it'll take a second for all the assets to load in. Um, your first time accessing the mod, it'll take a little longer just because it's trying to pull all the images and everything it needs to from all the places that the images are stored, whether that be in the workshop cloud thing that they have for this, or if it's pulling from Imgur, is where I have a lot of the images stored. So this is what you'll see when you first load up the mod. That's the standard table. To the left over here, you have the building table. This is where we have the two maps to play. And then we have on the very right, we have the mission table. For the purposes of this, I'm actually going to load in one of my other games that I had saved specifically for this. And we'll definitely go over how to do all of that. Alright, so this is the attack wing mod. As I said, it's the same thing that you just saw. I've moved some things around. So the first thing you need to know is fleet building. And I do have, over here on the fleet building table, I did put a little guide in for people who kind of struggle with this part. This is the part of the game that I seem to consistently get the feeling that it's kind of overwhelming for some people. So we're definitely going to walk through that process all the way from Utopia, bringing it into tabletop. But I did build this nice little guide here for people. It goes step by step through Utopia and how to bring it in. It's in PDF form, so you can just flip through it. But let's go ahead and let's build just a simple fleet. Drag Utopia over. And we'll just build just a simple fleet. If for those of you who have never used this before, I will put the link in the box here in the chat. This is Utopia. This is probably the best fleet builder that we have for Attack Wing. Well, really, probably the only one that we have. It's up to date. It's got all the cards in it. It does a lot of the adding itself for you, so you don't have to worry about, your final fleet build total at the bottom. As it adds everything. It does all the discounts. So let's just go ahead and build, let's say, a thematic Enterprise E build. So we'll add the Enterprise E. We'll get us a Jean-Luc Picard, which I think that would be the Ahab Picard. We'll just add data. Really doesn't matter which one. We'll add photon torpedoes because that's always fun. We'll add a Riker. And we'll add a Worf for good measure. Alright, so say that's my fleet there. You see the ship comes in at 49 SP. The captain skill got calculated for you thanks to this version of William T. Riker that it boosts your captain skill up +3. So it automatically does that for you, which is great. It lets me know that there's an errata on this data card, and the text has already been changed to conform with the errata that was issued by Worf. The photon torpedoes is calculated. Overall, it's great. So to get this into Tabletop Simulator, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hit this export button here at the top of the right-hand side of the screen. And then you get the traditional export, which is going to list the ship, the cards that you have. And then you have this other option here, that's the Tabletop Sim Export. And it's just going to be letters and numbers. And that's fine. We have everything built based off of this coding. So all you need to do from here is just click inside this box and it'll select everything. And then you can right click copy, or you can do the Control-C. So once you have that copied, we need to go back into Tabletop Simulator. And we're going to place this text right here where it says replace this text. So to do that, we're going to hit this nice little, this T icon on the side for text. And it'll make this a nice shaded box. You're going to want to click inside of it, and that'll select all the text in there. And now right click, paste does not work here. So you do have to use the Control V, and that'll paste that list right on in. And another important thing to remember after you paste that list is to go back and use the pointer finger or F1, the grab. Because if you don't, when you click, you'll be making these nice little text boxes everywhere. But don't worry. If you hover over them, you can trash them and that'll delete them. So you click that, and then you'll want to find this nice little option here. It's called Build List. So you click on Build List, and it'll take it a second. And what that does is it's looking at all those letters and numbers that we put in there, and then it's looking through these boxes that we have in the Tabletop Simulator mod. And it's pulling the according cards and models and dials. So you can take all this here and place it down there. So you see we got an Enterprise E model, we got a Sovereign class dial that got spit out of the builder, and then all that's left to do is to set our cards out. So you can do it one by one like this if you really want to, or you can keep them all in a group. So there's 6 cards there. You can right click and you can go to search, and then it'll list all the 6 cards here. So you can just pull out the cards that you want. So there's the Enterprise E, there's the Jean-Luc Picard, here's Data, Photon Torpedoes, Riker, and then Worf. And that's pretty much it. That's how you put your fleet into Utopia. And obviously, the more ships you'll have, the more cards it'll pull, the more models it pulls. It'll pull all the dials for you. Now, say that you're building a fleet to play somebody else and you're wanting to save it. So to save your fleet, what I like to do... Oh yeah, let's grab... the movement cards and stuff are up here next to the little landing pad. So you can just right click, search, and you can type in Sovereign, and you'll get a Sovereign class movement card. Because I just like to set the dial on that. So you get this set up however you like. Now to save it, what you're going to do is you're going to left click and hold, and then you'll get this nice little selection box, and make sure you grab everything, and it'll grab everything in that box, and then you just right click on one of the cards, and you'll want to click Save Object. So we'll save object, we will put it in our TTS should be fine. We'll put it in our TTS folder. You can name it whatever you like, so we'll just call this Test 1. So you hit Save, and that's it. The fleet's been saved in your objects folder. Now, say you want to load that fleet in. Let's go ahead and delete this. Say you want to load that fleet into Tabletop Simulator. What I really suggest is that you turn the camera, and in order to do that, you want to right click and hold, and that'll allow you to adjust the camera angle. And I should have gone over some of the basic keyboard shortcuts before we got into this, but we'll do that right after this part. So to load a fleet in, what I highly suggest is you turn your view like this. That way when you bring a fleet in, it'll load in kind of nice for you. It won't take up too much space. So to load a fleet in, you'll want to go to this Objects button here. You'll click Objects, and you'll go to your saved objects. Now, I'm going to have a lot in here. So you'll have to excuse that. But we have this TTS folder, which is where we saved it. There is test 1 right there. So you'll just grab it and you'll drag it and place it down. Whoops. Place it down and it'll load in. It didn't load how I wanted it, but that's okay. So there you go. That's how you bring a fleet in after you save it. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up for people. So in the chat, I have brought up the PDF file, or not the PDF, the JPEG file for the keyboard shortcuts. That's probably something I should have gone over before the start. So to move the camera left, you want to hit the A button. To move the camera right, it's D. Up is W, and down is S. Those are the basic camera movements for you. To rotate things, so say I want to rotate this card, you can hit Q, and I'll just rotate it a little bit, or you can hold Q down, and it'll spin the card around. Say we want to spin this entire thing, and we don't want to spin each card individually. You can again select the whole thing, and then just grab one of the cards and press the left click and hold it, and then you can just hit Q or E to spin it around. Let's see what other cards, what other things are there. F is a big one, so F will flip the cards. That's going to be big for the dials. Can you decrease the rotation speed? Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah, you definitely can do that. I think right now it is. Yeah, it's at 15 degrees. Yeah. It's at 15 degrees. So as I was saying, F is for flip, so you can flip the cards over. That's going to be helpful when you're setting your dials. You'll have the F for the flip, and you can flip it back over. Usually have it set. Yeah, 90 degrees isn't too bad. The only reason I don't have it set like that is because of ship placement. When you're putting it up on the board, I tend to be more strategic in my placement, so you can have it set to 15 degrees. I'm working on getting it so you can set it to lower degrees than 15. That's just something to think about. Let's see, what other shortcut keys are there? Yeah, that's true. 90 does work better. So you definitely want to know R. The R key is shuffling decks, or it is for rolling dice. You can hit R and it just gives it a nice roll. So that's important to know. M is for the magnifying glass, which is helpful if you are trying to determine if your ship has bumped another ship or hit an object. M is very useful in that case. If you're trying to get a big, better view of a card, you can use magnifying glass to read, but I suggest using Alt instead. You just hold the Alt button down, and that'll give you a nice kind of bigger blow up of the card so you can read the text. Another one that we use a lot is the Tab button. If you just hit Tab, it gives it a nice little attention arrow. So if you're playing against somebody, you can be like, I'm using this card's ability, and they can come and read it if they want to. Another use we have for Tab is if you press tab and hold, it brings out the ruler. And you can measure the distance of things. We use this a lot for setups, measuring to make sure objective tokens are 4 inches, which is range 1 away from each other. But I think those are all the keyboard commands you need to know. The arrow keys just change the rotation of the camera. So up, down, left, and right. The number keys, that's another one. So for things like the dice, they have a couple different faces. In this case, they have 8 faces, and they are tied to the numbers. So 1, 2, 3, all the way through 8. So 1 is going to be a crit, 2 is a blank, 3 is a hit, and so on and so forth. So that's useful for if you have something. Oh, that's a good point. Spacebar is to reset. Yep, I did forget to include that one. So knowing the number keys is great for when you say you have a battle station result that you rolled, and you're wanting to convert it to a hit. You can just hit 3, and that changes it to a hit. Same with the evade dice. 3 goes to an evade. I think it's 3 and 6, and 1, 3, and 6. I think it's 1, 3, and 6 are evades. 1 is crit, 3 is a hit, 6 is a hit. Right? Yeah. So that is everything you need to know. Those are all the basic keys that you need to know. There are a lot more keys out there that I'm not including. You can always hit the question mark key, and that'll bring up the tips and hints, and that has a lot of the other keys in it. But those are the main ones that we generally use. So that's how you build. We went over fleet building. So bringing a fleet in, like I said, it's very daunting when you first look at it. But once you build a couple of fleets and you get the hang of it, it's actually fairly easy. And it'll go by quick. So, moving over to this table here, this is the main game table. I have something already set up for us here to simulate kind of a gameplay situation. But what you're going to have, you have the timer. The annoying thing with setting up the timer is that it goes by seconds. So you have to know it's 3,600 is 1 hour. That's for the hour timer. Just a little neat thing there. Nope, this is not a practice run for the TTS Academy. This is my live stream for it, and it'll be up on my Twitch page for a little bit for rewatch, and then I will load it up into YouTube a couple days after. Probably more towards Friday is when I'll get it loaded up into YouTube. So the main things with the board, you have the timer. You have these nice little map buttons here that'll load in the maps. I have added a bunch of more maps in. I've a lot of the newer maps, which if you hit previous is like the newer maps for stuff I've added in. A lot of them are going to be from Lower Decks, one of my favorite Trek shows right now. So you have a nice arrangement there, and then you'll have some interesting things to play on. So there's a lot of good stuff there. Just cycle back through. You might see some Star Trek Online maps in here. Forget exactly how many there are. But the map you're going to want to start with is this. This is the starting grid map. So it's got the range 1 already set. So this is where your ships will be set up. And then, of course, it's got all of this that you can use to set your objective tokens, your planet tokens, what have yous. You can set everything up there. Over here, you'll see a Star Trek Attack Wing map database. I'm going to give everybody a forewarning now when you open this, especially if you've never played around in the Star Trek Attack Wing mod. It may take a minute to load. That's because it's trying to bring in all these high-res images when you search in this. But it's got every map in there, and it's attached to a map tile. Like I said, it takes it a good minute to load everything in. But to use this, all you do is you pull it out, and it's literally just a tile. It's got 3 options: rotate left, rotate right, and load this map. I highly suggest that you do not rotate the map once you have it loaded in, as that will rotate these buttons around and it gets all kind of funky looking. That's another fix that's coming in the future. So basically you just put this in the middle, you hit load map, and there it is. Now say you don't want to play with this map, how do you fix it? You can just hit previous map and then next map, and it'll bring you right back to the start. You'll see that there is a token pad that's in the middle for the moment. These are infinite token bags pretty much. So you can pull these out any way you want. So if you're doing an action, you can pull them out. If you need them, you can pull them. The same with the dice. You can pull any amount of dice out. Same with the shields, ox power disabled. But there's also another thing that we've got for that I'll show here in a little bit. So, moving over to this other game board here, you can see I've got it set up already. Matter of fact, we can just move these guys a little closer to one another. So I've got the cards set. Now I've added multiple functionalities to things inside of this mod. The first being that I have gotten rid of the movement pads themselves. Now all the movements and everything associated with the movements are going to be done with the dials. So after you set your fleet, you're going to want to take these dials, and all you do is just set them on the base and hit sync. And once you have this nice little button here, that means your ship is synced. And it also changes the name of the dial, so it's called USS Enterprise. Say that you're running multiple enterprises, or you have multiple, you can change it. One of the things, you can change the name of the model itself by right-clicking and selecting this bottom top one here. One thing that I like to do when I am playing is I will give it the name of the captain and their captain skill, so that I can just hover over. This is Con 8. Now if I take the dial, place it right on there, and I sync it, the dial is Con 8. And you can update that throughout the game with the captain skill if you really want to. So both of these ships are synced to their dials. So we can flip these over, and you'll see that they'll have the movements for this specific ship class. So this is going to have all the movements for the Constitution refit, all the way down to the 2 reverse reds. This will have all the Miranda, which I believe they pretty much have the same movement template. So yeah, that's that. So to set another very important thing to do is with the ships, you can right click and you'll see that you'll have an evade, a target lock, a scan, battle stations, aux power, or toggle bumping. This is where you can do your ship actions. So you can hit evade, and it'll bring an evade token from the token pad over next to your ship. Same with target lock, the scan, and battle stations. Now each ship will have its own action bar here. So Klingons, Romulans, they'll have a cloaking action, which brings over a cloaking token. So let's go ahead and delete all these tokens because we don't need them. And then, of course, Ox Power will bring an Ox Power token over for the times you do the red maneuvers or you do something that requires you to grab an Ox. Now, one of the newest changes we have implemented into the TTS mob. Okay, so a target lock token. When you hit target lock, what it used to do is it used to change it based on your player color. That code has since been broken, and I'm attempting to fix it. But for at the moment, when you hit target lock, it actually names the target lock token your ship. So you know what ship it belongs to, and you can just set it across to the other ship. So if Khan were to target lock the Enterprise, the target lock is called Khan 8. So you can just put it there. So there's no need to have the corresponding target lock token because the token itself is already named. Great question, though. Okay, so one of the newest features we've added in is this toggle bumping. This is to help players know if they hit something. So both players will have to toggle these on at the start of the game. And let's just simulate a crash here. So I'm going to select a 3 forward white with the Enterprise. So to set the dial, we just hit set, which will flip the dial automatically for you. And to move the ship, all you do is hit engage. Once you hit engage, the ship will move, and we should get an alert that it hit the Reliant, or Con 8. Which we didn't get. It's because I didn't set it early. it does work right. Or not. I might have actually turned it off. Nope. Silenced, enabled. Silenced. Enabled. Let's try it again. Cool. Okay. Actually, I might know what the issue is. Let me make a copy of these ships real quick, along with the dials. And you'll see when the dials are not synced, they don't have their movements or any of the buttons, so you can't do anything with them. So you just sync them up. I think I know what happened here, and it's because I didn't pull these ships out of the bags first. So we will set, we'll engage, and there we go. You get the alert that you have a collision. Just one more time. Collision with Con 8, collision with Enterprise. No, there's... The toggle the bumping, it'll work when you pull pull ships in with a builder and you pull them in from a saved object. If you have a board that's saved, like I had with these 2 ships here already, for whatever reason, the bumping script does not like to work. You shouldn't have to worry about that because you'll be pulling ships in from the builder. This was just an example of... Yeah, it doesn't stop the move. I can attest that TTS does a lot of weird things when you don't want them, especially with the scripting. Yeah, so it just alerts that there's a collision. It doesn't stop the move, so it's on the player to bring the ship back and then kind of reset with the movement templates, which are provided over here. So say that your ship can do a sensor echo, or you're cloaked and you want to do a sensor echo. I actually included a button here on the dials themselves, and it has all of the sensor echoes you can do. So you just do the sensor echo, and then you hit cancel. Now, if you ever want to undo a move, like that collision that we had, so we set, we engaged, we collided, right click on the dial, and you'll have the undo. Along with, you'll have the movements that you can do with the ship that are not necessarily on the dial. So things like Admiral Maxwell Force that gives you a 1 turn, or Chemosite that can bump your force straight into a 6 forward. I've put those here on the dial so you can use them. The rotates are all here, so you can quickly just rotate your ship 90 or 180 degrees. So we'll just click undo for now. Now, say that you want to check the range for your ship. Now, there are 2 ways to do that. You can use the range ruler that's provided, or this nice little button here in the center of the ship model pulls in a range ruler for you already. So you can see that the Connie is at range 2. So that's just a nice little tool that we all use that gets brought in. And I think that's really it. So if you right click on the dial and the model itself, you'll get a bunch more options for functionality. Now, let's talk about the cards, because I have also added functionality to the cards themselves. So you'll have your fleet kind of set up like this. Now you'll notice I don't have shields or anything out here. You'll do this obviously in the setup portion. But what you can do is you can right click on the ship card, and you'll see it says add base shields. So if I click that, it'll add 4 shields on top of this card directly for me. Now say I'm running an upgrade like systems upgrade that adds +1 to my shield count. So the Enterprise is actually running 5 shields. You could just hit this add +1 shield, and it'll add it right to the stack. So now there are 5 shields there. Same with the Reliant. You just add base shields, pulls it right in for you. Or you can do it manually, straight off the token bar by just pulling the shields down. You can Control C, copy and paste. So that is that. Now each card, if the card has an ability, like it brings in a token or something cool like that, you'll find that it has that ability built right on into the card. Every card will have 2 options for you to do. So it'll have a disabled token, so you can disable the card, bring a disabled token and place it on for you. Or you have the discard. You click that, it just flips the card over for you. Cards that have abilities like Kirk here, who's got a place a battle station token beside your ship. If you click the battle station token, it'll just bring it over, and then you can take it and place it next to your ship. I think that's really it. Oh yeah. Legacy of the Name has time tokens involved. That's a good question. I don't actually know. I would assume so. I'm not, because I never thought of it that way, because I'm always hosting. That's something I can test out with somebody at a later time. But really, if they can't... Okay, so yeah. Well, according to Delta, it works with non-permanent users. So if you can right-click on the card, then you should be able to use it. And yeah, I did go through I did go through every single card and add text and add scripting to them. Um, that was a good amount of time there to do that. Um, Either way, completely worth it. Um, so things like Legacy of the Name, they have place 3 time tokens on the card. So you can hit the time token button. Oh, I hit Battle Station. You can hit the time tokens button, and it'll bring time tokens right on in for you. So yeah, every card should have. So yeah, here's another one. Improved Phasers has 2 time tokens, so it'll bring 2 time tokens in, and then you just go ahead and delete them as needed. Um, Other than that, I think that's everything you really need to know. Um, there's really nothing different outside of this. The dials are the biggest improvement that just dropped. Let's see. Um, yeah, I can definitely. Is it possible to get shuffle or roll mixed up since they use the same key? No. Um, Let me show you. So TTS can tell the difference between a deck of cards and dice or a custom model. Um, so if you use the R key on a deck of cards like the damage deck, it knows to shuffle it versus roll it. With dice, it can tell that these are dice, um, just because that's what we brought in and we just added our own faces to them. Um, so it can tell that it's dice, so it knows to pick them up and actually roll them using the dice physics. Um, Now you can roll things like ship models on accident. It doesn't actually flip them or do anything crazy to them. It just picks them up off the board and then places them back down. So there's nothing crazy when that happens. But no, there's really no way for it to get it all crazy or mixed up. Um, like on a single card here, if you hit R, it does nothing. The minute you add it to a stack, it'll shuffle them. So TTS is great in knowing the difference between a deck and a dice or a model in this case. Yeah, not a problem. Um, so, other things to note is, say you want to play, say you got a fleet, you've got a mission or something in mind that you want to play. I've added in this mission database builder here. I have scanned in all of the mission cards. Again, loading this in, it'll take a minute, just because it's got to bring in all those images. So you just give it a second. And I have them in here all in alphabetical order because that's just who I am. So say you want to play, let's find a good one that's got a lot of stuff. Here we go. You want to play the Ancient Weapon. I think that's from the Kelvin faction pack. What you do is you grab the mission card out of the folder there, and then you'll see it says place mission card or chip here, and there's actually a place where the card will want to go. So let it go, and then you can right click on the mission card and hit engage. And when you do that, it will spawn in all of the mission elements you need. So in this case, it calls for 2 planets, 3 mission tokens, and 3 objective tokens. Well, here are the 2 planets, here are 3 mission tokens, 3 objective tokens. So now you can just take this and add it to the board wherever they need to go. The cards here, they are actually all together. So you'll see there's a 1/1/through 4. Those are the card faces. So if I hit 1, it's obviously for card side 1. Side 2 is number 2, 3, and 4. So all the mission cards are here, just like that. I am working on finishing up getting all of the OPs in there, and I'll show you what that looks like. So for Alliance and OPs, I had to do something a little different. Instead of using those mission cards, I had to make these L card chips. Let's see, here's a good one, the Doomsday Machine. So you take the L card chip and you place it right there, right in the same spot where you place the card. We can just delete these mission elements. And then again, with these chips, you just right click, you hit engage, and it will pull in the the map elements that you need for the OP. In this case, there's a Doomsday Machine token that it pulls in along with the objective tokens. And the Doomsday Machine does have a firing arc, so I added the range ruler to it, trying to match it up to the best I could. But that works for you. And then it's the same case with Alliance. I went ahead and added all of the Alliance emissions in here. Everything is scripted. So if you're looking to play Alliance, and you're wanting to do the map elements, you can do it this way and pull those in, get everything set up the way you need to. With some of the Alliance ones, there's also options for more players. Like the runabout mission, for example, if you play with more than 2 players, you can bring another runabout token in. So this just allows you it spawns you another runabout token. And that's it for the mission builder. Say you're wanting to do something on your own, which is completely fine. In this box up here, labeled extra items, you will find I have added in a lot of the tokens that have come with different blister packs, different OPs, generally all the tokens that you can find that come in the game. The first contact mission tokens are in here. We've got 3D objective tokens, 3D planet tokens, and we have all the flat planet tokens here. Here's a copy of the actual Attack Wing rulebook, the updated one. So if you're wanting to learn how to play the game through TTS, the rulebook's here. But yeah, I mean, there's the Botany Bay objective token. How do you set up the numbered edges? Great question, and I have an answer. So, I'll answer that question when I get over to the Alliance box, because you'll find everything in there. So, and I gotta wait for this to finish loading all these tokens on. Boop-a-doop-a-doop. So yeah, we've got things in here like the Botany Bay token that came with the Gen Con pack, the V'ger token that came with the Enterprise, and everything in here is scaled. Here's the Scimitar from I believe it's the Valdor pack. It comes with these movement tokens, which, to be honest, the ones I scanned in, mine are in fairly rough shape, because that was one of my favorite solo missions to play when I was first learning the game, so they kind of got scuffed up over the times I played it. But you got all the numbered mission tokens in here, all the numbered objective tokens that come with the new faction pack are here, the shipwreck tokens, everything's here. Now, moving into the Alliance box. So if you're wanting to play Alliance here in TTS, it's really easy to do. I have included the rulebook, and the mission book here. So you'll have everything, so you know how to set everything up and what the rules are for that. You've got the dice that you're going to need. Now, to answer the question that was out there, this bag here, if you just pull it and place it, it's got the 8 Alliance maps on it. So if we go search this, you're going to have the starting grid, the Alliance setup grid, or you've got these nice mission maps, which it's the same as earlier, where it's a map tile. So you just pull it, place it right in the middle, hit load, and it'll bring in the nice little numbered edges for you. So you know where to set them up, or where those ships are coming in. So you have the setup grid here, so you know where to put your tokens and whatnot, based on the grid that comes with the box. And again, to change the maps from these, because you don't want to play with this. And the main reason you don't want to play is because you can actually kind of measure with these grids, and you don't want to cheat yourself. So you just pick the mission map and load her up. And there is one map for each mission, so there are this total of 6 missions. Yeah, and that's how you bring that in. Now, the other thing in the Alliance box, you'll find there's a bag for the Alliance tokens. If you don't want to go sifting through the extra items, box, all the Alliance-specific tokens are in here. So that's all the numbered mission tokens, the planet tokens, the Turlesque, the Runabout, the asteroids, listening posts, everything that's here. And the cool thing with the Runabout token is that I was able to get the model to have the notches cut out of it, so that these movement templates will fit right into the notch. Just a nice little detail that was added in. That really TTS took care of for me. I just did the loading of the image. Throw that back in there. Now the last 2 bags that we have in here are Dominion and the Federation. The Dominion bag is going to have all of your AI stuff. You'll see there is an AI card for the battleship. That is something that Chris Peters made. So you can definitely add that to your game if you want to. But you've got the AI logic card here. You have a pad for the AI ships, because they do not have dials. And then the bugs themselves, I was actually able to add an actual base template that comes in Alliance. So it's got all of the arcs on it. If you sync this up, let me put this on the table here. If you sync it up, it'll actually load in the Alliance AI Finder itself. So it's got all the nice little lines, so you can kind of use the AI logic to figure that out. That's that. And then I did add the elites in as well. So you've got those, so you can tell who's an elite. And then you also have the Scimitar attack ship cards here, which are double-sided for the elites. So everything is here. That is the Dominion bag. Just throw all this back in there. Now the Federation bag's got a lot more in it. That's because I went ahead and we added all of the dials and all of the ship models for all of the ships that you can technically use in Alliance, based on the rulebook. So you have all of the ship cards here, the generics, and then I went ahead and added all the Alliance upgrades. So there are only Alliance upgrades in this stack. Anything that came with it. So that's that there for you to use. You've got the captain card, which admittedly is not fillable out. It's not fillable yet, but you can go to objects and you can go to components, and in here you can find different items to use as kind of markers. You can use a quarter if you wanted to. you can just scale it down and just place it over whatever you're using. In the future, we're hoping to have this so it's fillable and you can do all that good stuff. But that's something that's coming down the line. But other than that, I believe that is everything. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask. I'll kind of hang out here just for a little bit longer. Oh, one thing I do want to go over. I need. Oh, no, thank you for for being here tonight. One thing I do want to show. I need to grab an ambassador. Let's say Sarek. Sarek, let's grab a Ferengi captain. Cap 730. M004. Cap 730. M004. Okay. Okay. So, one thing that I wanted to show and highlight with these two cards. So, since the starter set in 2017, the new one came out, they have WizKids has included these tokens with the faces of the people on them. And I went ahead and I actually added those into the game. So all the ambassadors, I pulled the ambassador because I know he's got one. So any card that has one of these, you just hit card token, and it'll load the reminder token in. And then if you hover over it, it'll tell you what exactly that reminder token does. So in Sarek's case, this token would go next to the target ship, and it just says that target ship may not target your ship. So that's just a neat little thing that I added in. Let's try. Oh, I know one. Let me bring in Mr. Mud. Harcourt Fenton Mud, C349. C349. Okay. So, Harcourt Fenton Mud, he has these nice love crystals, and I did make sure that the love crystal rules card comes with it. That way you have an idea of what the love crystals do. But the card ability brings in the love crystals for you. So that's just another example of bringing those tokens in. So for Ferengi captains from the most recently the Ferengi faction pack, you get the nice gold press platinum. So anytime you spawn a Ferengi captain in, I made sure that it will also spawn in these gold press platinum token cards. Again, just as a reminder for the players to know what they can do with them. And each one of them will have the GPLT tokens. So much like how the ships have the scripting for the shields, the Ferengi captains have scripting for their gold press platinum tokens, which they will pull. Learn only gets 2, so he's got 2 of them here. And then you can copy and paste and add more, and then I have the cards that add more will add more to it. I think that's really it. Yes, that is all the little nuanced stuff. Let's see. Do we know anyone with a relationship to... so Crazy Vulcan, he was one of the original authors for this mod. I know he inherited it from somebody else. And he's moved over to working with the X-Wing guys. So there is a little bit more of a relationship there. Um, he has he was going to put me in contact with somebody who wrote the scripting for their dials before I created this new dial. Um, but the bumping script is something that I definitely want to take a look at. Um, it's just, I'm going to be completely candid here. I learned TTS scripting. I'm brand new at this. It's been a lot of trial and error in getting it up to this point. So I'm proud of what the mod looks like right now. Um, and the X-Wing mod, I've looked at the code and tried to translate a lot of it, and a lot of it is still beyond my skill level. But I'm more than happy to learn from somebody, especially the X-Wing guys, um, because their mod is awesome. Um, there's no denying that the X-Wing mod for TTS is out of this world. And I've taken a lot of inspiration from that mod and trying to do some of the things here. Um, but this will be a continuing work in progress, and more improvements as I get more suggestions on what to improve. Um, but yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up. There's nothing really else left on the table here. There is this nice little table up here called the neutral zone. This just kind of is a place where we tucked away all the tokens and hid some of the stuff. Um, my one warning is do not delete anything on this table. It will kind of ruin your day. If you need to pull a card or something isn't pulled for you, I think Cargo Hold, the Ferengi card Cargo Hold has a bug report in right now, where it doesn't get pulled by the builder. You can search these boxes here, and it has all of the cards for that specific faction. But be very careful. I suggest pulling a card out, making a copy, and then putting the card back in, because again, the builder looks at all of these boxes. And if you pull a card out of here, the builder won't be able to see the card in there, because it's not in there anymore. But other than that, that is everything. My last warning that I will give is if you make a mistake and you delete something, don't ever Control Z. That will reload the game. It'll unsync everything, and it takes a minute to get everything back to where you were playing with your opponent. But yeah, that's everything. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put it in the chat box. If you don't have it already, I will put the link for the Fremont Reformation Discord in here, in the chat. Oh yeah, this little function here. I wouldn't rewind time or anything with this, because that will mess things up as well. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so that's everything. I don't know if you guys need to. If you need to, let me just show this real quick. So we'll close out of this. So if you're looking to play with somebody online, and they're hosting a server, so you've got two options if you're trying to play with somebody online. The shoot first functionality. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I did forget that. Yeah, let me cover this and I'll go right back into that. So if you're going to play with a friend online, or you want to play against somebody online through the Discord server, there you have two options. You can host the table, or you can have them host the table. If you host the table, you'll want to go with multiplayer, and then you'll create a server name with a server password. That way nobody else can join in your game and flip your table on you. You just create the server and then they can see it. And then you'll load your game in from there. the other option is to join a game. So this is if they're hosting. You can type in Star Trek. There isn't going to be anything in here. But you can type in Attack Wing. Like X-Wing is a good example. So all these people are hosting tables, and you can join in if you have the passwords. So that's how you do that. So let's go back. So the shoot first functionality is, that's basically the initiative marker. So at the start of the game, you roll your 5 dice. Whoever wins initiative, you can flip that marker to point to them. Gotta let everything load again. Come on, 98%. 99. All right. So yes, the shoot first, move first. So whoever has initiative obviously shoots first. Who doesn't have, they have move first. So in this case, red has initiative, so the arrow is red, and it says shoot first. So say your turn's over, you can just hit the F button, and this will flip for you. And now blue has initiative, so the arrow is blue, and they shoot first, and you move first. So it's just a different take on the initiative coin that gets passed. That's really the only functionality there. But thank you for pointing that out. I did forget it. But other than that, I believe that is everything else. So again, thank you guys for joining me tonight for this Tabletop Simulator Academy. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Ask me. I'm more than willing to help you guys learn how to play the game. If you need a couple practice rounds in, you can join the Discord, and you can locate me on the Discord by my name, Jerry, or Scott Altman. He's in the Discord too. He's more than willing to teach new players how to play through practice games. We do have a 1-year anniversary tournament coming up for the Fremont Reformation Discord. So if you're interested in playing with that, we welcome everybody from all skill levels, whether you're brand new to TTS or you've been using it for years. It's kind of just it's not super competitive. It's meant to be fun. And we have a lot of new players playing. So it's great. It's definitely something to sink your teeth into. Again, you can join the Discord if you haven't already. If you have any bug reports or anything you think is odd or fishy, you can reach out to me via Discord or on the Facebook page, the community page. I'm pretty active there. I like to be pretty approachable for this stuff. So, again, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight, and I hope you guys all have a good night.